Kendall is a very dedicated athlete. She monitors her diet, exercise, and sleep very closely. Recently, Kendall has been getting much weaker. She's been bruising easier and more often. The bruises have been taking longer to heal than usual. Her coaches have noticed how she is not performing as well as she used to when she first started playing soccer. Because of the tough pressures of staying fit and staying on this high-level team, Kendall suffers from body dysmorphia, a mental disability which causes her to be unsatisfied with the reflection of herself. By trying to combat this problem, Kendall has barely eaten in the past couple of days as she's very concerned about her physical appearance. She's more focused on losing weight than keeping her body healthy.
Kendall is not receiving enough nutrients from food like amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins. Our bodies naturally produce 12 out of the 20 essential amino acids, and the other 8 come from ingesting food. Kendall is not getting enough from the 8 needed amino acids from the external sources, which affects many different parts of her body that require proteins. She is also lacking carbohydrates that can form polysaccharides like glycogen to be used for storage of glucose in her liver that is needed for long-term energy, and lipids, which are important in the production of some hormones. Since Kendall has such a low body fat percentage, she is at high risk of injuring her vital organs, as fat serves as an insulator and protector of organs. She is not producing enough enzymes that help speed up chemical reactions because protein synthesis, a process that needs ATP, has been halted. Through Kendall not receiving these proteins, homeostasis will be more challenging to sustain, and she will not have a good balance of proper hormones, chemicals, oxygen, and nutrients that will maintain a healthy body.
Once the paramedic arrived and immediately pulled me out of the sun, he checked my blood pressure. This blood pressure machine checks the systolic blood pressure over the diastolic blood pressure. The machine reads 68/45, which is considered an extremely low blood pressure. The ideal blood pressure is 120/80.
Our patient Kendall came into the emergency room because she had fainted while playing soccer. At first, we thought it was dehydration, low blood pressure, and heat stroke that had caused her to faint. The Gatorade that the paramedics had given Kendall has helped now because her blood pressure has risen from the sodium in the drink. A reason that she had low blood pressure could be because of low blood volume. Our bodies are constantly trying to balance itself, also known as homeostasis. The flood of salts from the drink will cause more salts and therefore more water to go into her bloodstream, meaning her blood volume and blood pressure will increase.
Bruises form from a break in blood vessels. Kendall has also been bruising because she is deficient in platelets, which help the blood to clot.
A common test in the emergency department is a urine test to test for hormones, alcohol, drugs, water levels in the body, and whether or not there is blood in the urine to indicate problems with other organs. We are taking a urine test to check levels of cortisol, a hormone released from the adrenal gland. Cortisol affects many different body systems. It plays a role in nervous system function, blood pressure, and metabolism of fats, carbs, and protein, as well as HCG, the hormone human chorionic gonadotropin hormone, which is a hormone secreted by the placenta if a woman is pregnant. When the results came back from the urine test, it showed that the cortisol levels were very low. This could be because cortisol needs carrier proteins called transcortin. Carrier proteins need ATP, which was not producing enough of. She has low levels of nutrients and glucose, therefore no or little carrier proteins, therefore low levels of cortisol in her body.
We checked her blood for glucose levels, white and red blood cell count, platelet count, many other hormones, proteins like hemoglobin, and also fibrinogen. Glucose, a monosaccharide, is what cells need to produce ATP. ATP, also known as adenosine triphosphate, is the body's way of making energy. In our blood, in our white blood cells, they help defend bodies from infections. High levels of white blood cells can be an indicator of an infection in the body. Different levels of white blood cells can help doctors determine what the body is trying to fight. Lymphocytes create proteins called antibodies, which will bind with foreign substances in the body to inactivate them.
Red blood cells are produced by stem cells in red bone marrow.
One of their functions is to transport oxygen and some carbon dioxide by a very important protein called hemoglobin. There is an iron part that makes up hemoglobin. Anemia is caused when there is a lack of red blood cells or hemoglobin being produced, which causes a lack of energy, sometimes due to a person not eating enough iron-rich foods. Not having oxygen be delivered enough through the body can affect how much energy she has, because the mitochondria will be lacking two major components of ATP, oxygen and glucose. The orange color of her blood is an indicator also of an iron deficiency, because healthy blood should look like a rich red. Anemia is caused when there is a lack of red blood cells or hemoglobin being produced, which causes a lack of energy, sometimes due to a person not eating enough iron-rich foods. Anemia is a very serious issue when not properly treated. Symptoms of anemia are fatigue. With a lack of iron in her body cannot produce as many hemoglobin needed to transport the oxygen in her body. The red blood cells she will make will be smaller and less efficient as delivering oxygen to organs and tissues. Not having oxygen being delivered enough through the body can affect how much energy she has, because the mitochondria will be lacking two major components of ATP, oxygen and glucose. The orange color of her blood is an indicator also of an iron deficiency, because healthy blood should look like a rich red.
Chronic stress, poor diet, low body fat, too much exercise are all reasons why a female can stop getting their period. The vital organs to the body need to serve first are the lungs, the liver, heart, and brain. Therefore, if the body is compromised, it will firstly direct the energy to those important parts first, to keep the body alive. As humans, we can still live while not reproducing. When listening to Kendall's breathing, Michaela noticed that she was taking very shallow breaths, which can be caused from asthma, hyperventilation, pneumonia, pulmonary edema, and shock. Shallow breathing can cause big problems, because then you are not doing an efficient job at doing the carbon dioxide and oxygen exchange in the lungs alveoli, which are small one-cell thick sacs. CO2 levels will rise and cause the blood to be more acidic. We want our blood to be slightly basic with a pH of 7.4. One of the complaints Kendall had is pain in her stomach. She's claimed to have a constant pain of burning in her stomach, and has noticed that the back of her throat also burns, and the feeling and taste reminds her of after she has vomited. Kendall is not bulimic. The burning feeling can be an indication of an ulcer. An ulcer is a hole in the stomach's mucus lining. Since she has been very stressed out about her appearance and training every day, we can assume that she has been overstimulating her nervous system, and not enough mucus in her stomach is being produced. Lack of mucus can affect her digestive enzymes, and so she can't break down big molecules into monomers so that they can be absorbed by the body.
After reviewing the results from her urine test, it was concluded that Kendall was not pregnant because there was no HCG hormone in her urine. Kendall has focused lots on eating healthy, and now she has enough nutrients to support all systems of her body. Her energy has increased, and now she has returned back to normal.